What's going on, Sate? It's me, Jordan from Dreamland, and I'm joined here with, please introduce yourself.
I'm Tiffany Bird Harrison.
Yeah.
Not from Dreamland.
So, we are here today watching a very controversial figure in the black community, Kevin Samuels. And, it's funny, and I really wanted to do this with Tiffanny specifically because she has very strong feelings about Kevin Samuels, as do a lot of black Christians, especially black women.
I'm giving you advice, but you're not taking it. The advice is, ma'am, you're average looking at best.
It's gonna be good.
I don't know as much about Kevin Samuels as Jordan does. So a lot of what I'm going to be presenting, I'm strictly going to be reacting for real, in real time. I've never seen the video that he's going to show me. So I just want to make that clear. No cap. I have never seen whatever it is you're about to pull out. Never seen it.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure they know that.
Yeah. But you have done your research on Kevin, and you've experienced his content, and you've developed some opinions.
Yeah, experienced is exactly what I would call it. Experienced his content.
No.
He is a controversial figure in the black community. I think it's very important to have this discussion, especially.
I think I have a different perspective from Jordan, but I do respect your opinion, even if I don't necessarily agree with it.
And I think this conversation is important, and especially, this is going to be funny, because she's never seen this video, but I have many times.
Oh dear. So what are we watching today, Jordan?
We are watching He's Gotta Be a Christian and Everything Else. What do you think that means? What does that mean to you?
He's got to be a Christian and everything else is the name of it. I think that's it sounds like he's going to get into some spiritual advice about what type of partner to look for. I'm assuming that's what it means.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
So we in for a treat.
Okay, I can't say that I'm angry, but it is annoying when I meet men and they're just all in the very beginning. They're saying everything that they want, and then all of a sudden they ghost.
How old are you?
They ghost and they're still out there just playing.
How old are you?
I'm 42.
They're all in the beginning, and they say everything
In the very beginning.
Okay.
Yes, they're all in. They're saying, "Oh, I want this, I want that," and then after a month or two, you can just tell that they're still out there just playing around.
Okay. Well, all men are like that? I mean, that's what I'm trying to understand. I mean,
yes, it seems like it's getting like that. Yes.
Really?
Maybe it's where I'm located.
Well, where do you live?
Dallas.
No, I spent 11 years in Dallas, and Dallas has some of the most, anyway, 42.
They're married.
Huh? No, Dallas.
Married.
No, Dallas has some. I'll be in Dallas either this week or next week. I'm coming to Texas because we got a problem, and I live most of my adult life in Dallas. Where do you go to church?
What's happening here in Dallas?
Where do you go to church?
Me and my girlfriend.
Where do you go to? Where do you go to church?
Concord.
When's your last relationship?
My last relationship was about 2 years ago.
2 years ago, and who ended that?
I did.
Why?
Because he ended up being married.
What do you mean he ended up being married? He was married when you met him.
He was married when I met him, and I had no idea that he was.
So how old are you?
Married.
You're 42?
42. Mm-hmm.
You can't run a background check on the dude?
Well, that's how I ended up. No, I usually don't do stuff like that, but that's how I
ended up. Okay, talk about.
What is the context of this video?
What do you mean?
Well, we launched right in
with
him giving advice, or I guess asking questions about this young lady's life. And she starts off saying, everyone's playing around, they always ghost on me, and he's like, okay, how old are you? And he kind of gives her the rundown of this survey of sorts.
Right.
But then we're in a place now where he's like, well, where do you live? I'm a little disoriented by what's happening.
No, that's understandable.
Yeah, so help me out.
So basically, the way Kevin Samuels kind of constructs how he does things and how he helps people, he wants to know all the basis about a person to kind of correctly assess where they are.
Okay.
So
do they fill out a survey before they come on? Or?
No. Basically, he is the survey. That's why he was asking, asking questions okay, you have trouble dating. Where do you live? Because where you live might affect your dating prospects.
Sure.
So and everything like that. Where do you live? Are you a Christian?
Right.
How old are you?
Right. Okay.
Stuff like that.
Got it. Okay. So with that context in mind, You were cracking up at one point. Why were you laughing so heartily? I was lost. Why were you laughing so heartily? I wanted to be in on it.
No. I'm laughing because I'm already having a good time and we just started.
Basically, what you're trying to get me to accept is all the men in Dallas are boys and losers, and I'm just gonna say no, man. Relationships are reflective because I know plenty of men in Dallas that don't fall into that category.
Well, I haven't met them.
Well, let's dig into that a little bit deeper. Do you want to be married?
I do.
You have any children?
I don't.
You want children?
I do. I go back and forth. The older I get, I have
42?
to say that. I'm sorry?
At 42?
At 42, do I want children?
Yeah, I mean, biological children at 42?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How's that going to happen?
Well,
have you talked to your OBGYN?
Well, I have a situation. I would actually have to have a surrogate.
Okay. So the problem is men, not the women, not you. What are you looking for in a man? What are you looking for in a man?
Honesty. I mean, aren't we all looking for the same thing?
Nope.
All women?
Nope.
I want someone who's in the church. You know, I want someone who
Really?
has a great job.
Why do you
I
want
want
them to be in
someone
the
who's
church?
easy on the
Why do you
eyes.
want them to be in the church?
I mean, they don't have to be necessarily like active in the church, but I would like for them to be a Christian, I should say.
Why?
I would like for them to have the same faith that I do. I think.
Okay, so you go to Concord. Is the pastor helping you find the man?
He's not, and I actually know my pastor really well.
And you're not working with the pastor to help you find a husband?
I am not.
Does that make sense? Why?
I'm sorry, you said, why not?
That makes sense. Why?
You know, it just never crossed my mind.
Brian Carter. That's what I thought. Brian Carter.
Pastor
It
Carter.
never crossed your mind. You've been there 10 years and you want your man to be in the church or from the church, but you're not working with the pastor of the church or men in the church.
I want someone who has the same faith as me, who has the same beliefs as I do.
I don't buy that, man, because if you did, you'd be working with the church to help you find a man. Was your last boyfriend a Christian?
He was.
But he was married.
Yikes.
How many times did you take him to church?
I didn't.
Huh?
I did not take him to church.
But you want a man that can share your faith.
Yes.
But you didn't take him to church?
I didn't because I'm just kind of private with my life.
The thing is, this is very common, Tiff.
What is? Which part?
I think, and to be fair, I don't think this is just like a woman issue. This part,
Sure.
that people want like a Christian woman or a Christian man, and they're not taking the necessary steps to get that.
Right.
And,
I agree.
And so this kind of illustrates the backwards logic of like, yeah, I want a Christian man, I want all these things, but I didn't take him to church, and I'm not working with the church to get one.
Right. Understood. No, I agree with that 100%. And I think what Kevin's doing well in this video that I would completely agree with is that he's exposing the fact that so many of us, and that's what I was saying, I needed him to break that down, because he said that people are using this as a disqualifier rather than a qualification.
Yep.
So, and like, that's kind of like the glass half empty, half full concept. It's like, really what I want is a believer or a faith-based relationship. But I don't necessarily want all of the like the difficulty or the accountability that comes with being in a faith-based relationship.
I agree.
Because if you're in a faith-based relationship, in my opinion, it makes a lot of sense to get the person that you're trying to date around your people so they can see and vet them as well. So not just doing like a solo dating thing. It doesn't make sense to just date solo. You need to be dating with people around, with people, so they can look at the person and go, okay, this person seems like a good fit, or I'm seeing some stuff.
I agree. Dating should be a community thing.
I agree,
And I think a lot of parents and a lot of our generation just kind of fail at that. They push halt on like dating. Oh, you shouldn't worry about dating right now. Just wait till you get older.
Sure.
But while I do understand that concept, I don't think that's realistic. I think people are going to want to get in relationships, and I think you should be best equipped to know how to deal with relationships in like a proper way.
But the problem that I have, and I don't necessarily disagree with your mom's perspective or anybody that believes that waiting is a good idea, because honestly, a lot of the principles of dating well and intentionally are supposed to come from how you treat people in general. So like, for example, the principle of being like male and female relationships and having the boundaries that you have and understanding those things could be really well applied if people practice that in their friendships. And then when they get to dating, it won't be such a stretch because they're already treating women and men with respect. And they're already, you know, so I think there's a directness that we're missing in a lot of the dating sphere.
That's correct.
But here's what's interesting, bringing it back to Kevin and back to this woman's situation. She's saying, I want a Christian man, but she didn't necessarily want a man that was so Christian that he would have at least asked to be like, hey, I want to be at your church. I want to be a part of your life, like connected to the faith people that you're connected to. So already that's a red flag for her as a qualification. And for Kevin, I'm just really curious. I think he's made a good point, right? But I'm really curious, where is the part, is he not giving specific advice? Like, is his show really about giving general advice but using someone as an example? Because that's what it feels like.
No, I think his show, because I mean, he could only like do for his show the people who call in for advice.
Right.
And so he's still in a good way, he's still getting to the bottom of this. He wants to have the whole picture before he makes his assessment.
I see. Okay.
So and we're waiting for that moment. And then,
got it. Yeah, it definitely feels like it's piecemealing a little bit.
Yeah, but he wants to, because, you know, if you made a judgment early on, that's not the correct way you should assess somebody.
No, I agree. And I'm gonna say, as someone who is married, and like when I talked to my husband prior, you know, before we were ever together, one of the things that I noticed different from him that I saw with a lot of men that I was going out with was that a lot of them would say, you know, I'm a Christian or I follow God, but then when it came to the actual like putting the rubber meeting the road situation, that wasn't the case.
Putting the money where your mouth is.
Yeah, it didn't show up. And here's the deal. I think it's important that when you say I want a man of God or I want a woman of faith, like if that's what you're desiring, you need to be looking for fruit, not just looking for like, I go to church or I check a box, because that's not necessarily a person of faith. There's plenty, you know, there's plenty of demons out here reading the Bible.
I've been guilty of that so many times.
Same. So I think the difference that I saw with my husband that was so radically, I mean, it opened my eyes to the fact that I had been so lackluster before, was that when he said, I, you know, am also a believer, it was like, all right, yeah, okay, cool. But then when I actually saw like the fruit of it, right, the way he treated people, the way that he treated his family and his parents, the way he honored them, it was different.
If you took him to your church, somebody would been like, that man married.
You're right.
I know. See, Christianity is supposed to shield you from all this, not open you up to all this madness. Ma'am, if you want a man who's really a Christian, why aren't you going to church with that man? Why isn't that man going to church with you? Why isn't your pastor helping you find it? Why aren't you in a church that facilitates Christian relationships?
You know, I just never thought about reaching out to my pastor about finding somebody. You know, I was a part of the small groups and that was about it. And, you know, everyone was younger than me. And so, I don't know, I just kind of like left it at that.
So I submit that you're really not trying to find a Christian man.
No, I am. It's just that.
No, you're not. No, you're not. The men that you picked aren't even lining up with what you say is important. And in practice, you're not doing these things. So Christianity cannot save you. You're just using it to filter out men that you don't find desirable. What is your job as a wife? Your number one job as a wife is then what? Especially as a Christian. What is a woman's role on this planet?
To cater to the man.
Nope.
And take care of his needs.
Nope. To be a helpmeet. Not to come and go as you wish, not to have freedom.
Correct.
I mean, I feel like it's a partnership, and what I give is what I expect to get back.
A partnership? Why do Christian women keep talking about partnerships? Where's partnership in the Bible? I don't understand this Christian feminism stuff. Where's partnership in Bible? Not a partnership. He has headship over you.
Okay. I mean, I don't really think of it in that way. I think of any working relationship as give and take. I think of it as a partnership. That's what I'm searching for. I'm searching for a best friend, a partner.
Okay. Well, many Christian feminists are. Many Christian
I wouldn't call
womanists,
myself
feminists.
a feminist.
Most Christian feminists don't. They believe in equality and partnership, and they talk and move in lots of similar ways. And in my channel, if you've been around, how long you watch my content?
Actually, this is my first time.
Well, ma'am, I have talked to different varying versions of Christian feminists, like at least once every couple of weeks. So anybody who's watched my channel, they're probably having a good old time in the comment section like, yep, we know what this is, because this is rampant in the Black community. Black women want Christian men, but you don't want to live like in the order, the divinity in which God aligned us. You want partnerships. You want this different arrangement. Doesn't really work. This is why men in general, most men have left, many Black men have left the church.
This is why so many Black men have left the church.
Yeah, it is one of the reasons, because like you hear a lot of this like ideology. And
now this is gonna be on my feed. I just realized that. Dang.
It's good for the soul.
Oh dear.
But no, I think Kevin is absolutely right in regards to like a lot of men are kind of like fed up with this ideology.
I think with Kevin's point, like to this, with this woman and kind of her story, it's interesting because it sounds like the message got all jacked up, right? Like she was thinking, I'm projecting that she's saying with her mouth, I want a Christian man. Mm-hmm. But all of her actions are lining up with, as he called it, pseudo-Christian behavior. And I think in the same way,
I think men and women are guilty of that.
Yes, absolutely. And I think this comes, let's take it out of the spiritual guise. Let's just take it in like a worldview kind of way. You say you want one thing, but you're doing this other thing that does not line up with this thing. So are we really encouraging, Jordan, people to detach from fruitless activities when it comes to romantic things? Like, is it like, hey, stop saying that you want one thing, but you're doing a completely different thing? Or are we saying I guess my question is it about, is the question really about them growing as women or as men in their God-given roles? Or is it about detaching from this understanding in the world of like, I'm empowered, or as a man, I'm just gonna wait for the prey to come to me kind of thing? Like, which one do you think is more important at this current moment?
In regards
to relationships and like having healthy relationships, especially for Black men and women of faith. Say that one more time. So you're basically asking, can you repeat that? Yeah. My question is more, do you think that it's more important? Is it more on the responsibility of growing in the fact that I'm a woman, you're a man, this is our role? Okay. Or is it growing in, is it detaching? Like, do we need to detach first, or do we need to grow in the area first? Which one comes first?
How do you mean by detach?
Like, detach from like these fruitless activities of like dating these men or women that don't meet, the requirements.
I would say for me personally, it's growing, because when you grow, you understand.
Sure.
So, I mean, you can detach yourself, but like you still don't, because I've met a lot of like men and women who just have abstained from a lot of that stuff, but just they don't have the knowledge or experience to kind of know what to do in these instances. So like having that growth and understanding, I think is vital to what you want out of this life.
Yeah. And do you feel like Kevin speaks to that growth in it, or do you feel like he's just teaching people how to know the signs and detach from those unfruitless activities?
I think it's a bit of both.
Because you're gonna outgrow him. I just want you to know.
You're
gonna outgrow this.
Yeah, probably.
And you probably already have. Okay.
She wants me to stop watching Kevin.
I really do. Maybe Jordan from Dreamland is going to be that man to speak to men about how they're supposed to be and who they're supposed to be, rather than.
Sir, what kind of woman do you want?
Absolutely not. I will call in every day just to crash the server. Like every single day.
So you're telling me you want a Christian woman?
I can't.
Without being a Christian man?
I can't.
Sir, you're not going to get a woman.
Don't talk over me.
Don't overtalk me.
That's what I want. I want a Kevin Samuels for men only, specifically. That's what I want. I want you to be that.
We're wrapping this up.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We appreciate y'all. This was a lot of fun with Tiffany to make. But
is there a wrap up that we need to do? Like, do you have some last thoughts?
Women should submit to their husbands. Bye.
Wow.